Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? All right, Saints rookie minicamp was this weekend, and of course, all eyes were on Taliese Fuaga. I should say most everybody's eyes were also on Spencer Rattler, but Taliese Fuaga was the 14th pick in the draft, and naturally that was going to draw a lot of attention as people were going to see how the Saints rookie looked out there in his first action. And yes, it is almost impossible to decipher anything at all performance-wise from a minicamp because there's no pads. Offensive and defensive linemen, when you're just out there in helmets, jerseys, and shorts, the position centers around physicality. So other than like just physically being out there or where you line up, it's very hard to tell. When it comes to quarterbacks, you can tell. Tight spiral on the ball, timing with receivers. Receivers, did you catch the ball? Running backs, how did you look into and out of cuts? There's a lot of different things you can tell. Defensive backs, turning, backpedaling, one-on-one drills. There's a lot you can tell. With linemen on both sides of the ball, you can't tell much. But what everybody paid attention to was the fact that Fuaga was lined up at left tackle. Now, we all know that his 4 years at Oregon State, he was a starting right tackle. I want to remind you this, though. Last week, we had Jim Mahalchuk on the show. If you don't remember that name or you didn't hear the interview, that was Fuaga's offensive line coach all 4 years at Oregon State. He's now on staff at Michigan State as an associate head coach. But all 4 years was the offensive line coach for Taliese Fuaga at Oregon State. And I asked him about playing right tackle instead of left tackle because the Saints might move him. That was part of the conversation. Remember, Mickey Loomis said, we think he's a tackle. He didn't say right or left, but essentially alluding to the fact that he was not going to be kicked inside to play guard, that Fuaga was going to play one of the tackle spots. So I asked the guy that coached Fuaga's position for 4 years, coached him for 4 years at that position, about playing left tackle. Here's what he said.
I think he can do either. He played right for us because we had a guy that was there first playing left, who's an NFL prospect also. I thought about switching him, but you don't mess with something that's working pretty good. If our left tackle would have been hurt, I would have flipped him over in a second, and he would have gone. So I think he can do both. I'm sure they have a plan already in place and a direction that they want to go.
So Jim Mahalchuk, who, by the way, had also been a coach in the NFL, said, I think he can do both. And the only reason he didn't is because we had a veteran there and it was working, so why mess with a good thing? Okay. He also told us in that interview that Fuaga did take reps at left in practice and in spring and different stuff like that. So it's not like it's something completely foreign. Yes, he's going to learn it and have to continue to develop in it, but it's something that you feel confident he could do, meaning play left tackle if you have to. Now, yes, the preference is Trevor Penning decides that he's going to be a good player and can win the starting left tackle job and be a good player over there. And Fuaga can be your starting right tackle. That happens, awesome. Now you've got McCoy at center, Ruiz at right guard, Penning at left, Fuaga at right. Now you're just battling for the left guard spot, and you've got a bunch of options there. So maybe it's Nick Saldiveri. Maybe it's Oli Udoh. You got options there if you're only looking for one spot. It gets dicey if Fuaga's not able to start as a rookie. If Penning doesn't emerge, now you're like, what do we do? That's a real challenge. But you cross that bridge when you get there. The other thing that was interesting was when we had John Stinchcomb here on the show. Now, John Stinchcomb, you might remember, was the 37th overall pick in the draft. He was a high second-round pick of the New Orleans Saints back in 2003. But he played sparingly, only a handful of games as a rookie, missed a season due to injury, really didn't become a starter until year 3, like Trevor Penning. But I asked John Stinchcomb about the difference in playing left tackle or right tackle. And his answer actually now it's from a guy who played right tackle his entire career in the NFL. But this makes a ton of sense as well when you look at how you may divvy the responsibilities up with these tackles.
There is a transition. There is a muscle memory element to how you feel and how you set. But with that said, it just comes with reps and time. I think the bigger jump is from tackle to the inside position rather than from right to left. So much is made about the left tackle being the premier position, as if, right tackle doesn't face the exact same personnel. The plays are still the same. The old adage that, you're protecting your quarterback's blind side is a little bit of garbage because it's field side and tight side. So if a quarterback is, you're on the right hash, then most of the reads are to his left, which means the back of his helmet is facing the right side. So I don't think it's as big of a difference between the ask of what you are demanding of your left tackle from your right tackle.
Makes a lot of sense. By the way, what side of the defensive formation does Cam Jordan play? He's the Saints' left defensive end going against the right offensive tackle. So a lot of times you do see elite pass rushers line up on the left side of the defensive front going against a right tackle. Ryan Ramczyk became insanely valuable as the Saints' right tackle. So if Fuaga plays left or right, I'm sort of indifferent. He just needs to be ready to roll and win one of those spots as a rookie. And if it is, in fact, left tackle, I'm good with it. Now, Dennis Allen was asked afterwards about starting Taliese Fuaga out there as they began this work at left tackle.
I think we want to take a look at him on the left side and see how he does over there. I think we're pretty confident that he can play right tackle. And so getting him some work over on the left side, I think, is important. And then we'll evaluate it as we go and see how he does.
He was also asked if Fuaga was going to exclusively work at left tackle here during the preseason.
Starting off, we're going to work him primarily over on the left side, and then we'll evaluate it as it goes. I mean, we haven't made any decisions in terms of concrete decisions, but yet that's where we're going to start him right now. We wanted to get him a lot of work in this camp, see how he does in this camp, and then we'll reevaluate after this camp's over.
I'll remind you, the Saints also added Lucas Patrick on Monday. So that's a veteran offensive lineman. He's an interior player, but he's played all three interior spots, started 15 games at center for the Bears this past year, has started both at left guard and right guard with the Packers, the Bears, now comes to New Orleans on a one-year deal. It's a 30-year-old that's played a ton of football and could seamlessly fit in on any one of those interior spots. You've got Nick Saldiveri there as well. Landon Young can play inside or outside. You signed a guy like Shane Lemieux, who's also a young veteran who's played both center or guard. I guess my point is, you signed Oli Udoh as well, who we talked about, has played in 43 games at both guard and tackle. You've signed these really versatile veterans that you feel like can be interchangeable anywhere on the line. And the hope is that Penning and Fuaga win your tackle jobs. And if they do, then you got a really strong competition for one spot, one starting spot. And then you're going to have your versatile guys that rotate, your interior backup and your backup tackle. So yes, that's really important. But if Penning and or Fuaga don't prove able to win one of the starting jobs, now these veterans, these versatile veterans you've brought in, are an option there, like James Hurst was. I mean, just think James Hurst. You didn't bring James Hurst here to be a starter. You brought James Hurst here after Baltimore kicked him to the curb to say, okay, veteran guy can play any of the four spots outside of center if we have an injury or plug and play, and that happened with Hurst a lot. He played left tackle. He played right tackle. He played left guard. He played right guard. He played all over the line for the Saints. So you would love it if those guys I just mentioned, Oli Udoh, Shane Lemieux, Justin Herron, Lucas Patrick, who they signed today, if those guys are just your versatile backups in the event of an injury or something like that, they plug and play. But if you need them to be starters, you've at least given yourself that option. But for now, Saints are taking a look at Fuaga at left tackle. Why not? Rookie minicamp. You know he can play right tackle. Get him some reps and get a look at left. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.